So now we can discuss about capital structure theories. The basic purpose of every capital structure is to maximize the value of the firm. That means to find out a best debt equity mix that will maximize the value of the firm and minimize the total overall cost of capital. But there is difference of opinion regarding whether the capital structure affects the value of the firm. Based on that thought, there are basically four important capital structure theories based on the thought that whether the capital structure affects the value of firm. Based on that thought, whether the capital structure affects the value of firm. Based on that single thought, there are mainly four capital structure theories. They are net income theory, net operating income theory, traditional theory, Modigliani and Miller theory. In this video, we are going to discuss the first two theories, that is net income theory and net operating income theory. Net income theory. This theory was developed and propounded by David Durant, and this theory is also known as fixed KE theory. We know that KE means cost of equity. So fixed cost of equity theory. And this theory, the main important point is saying is that the capital structure is relevant and it affects the value of firm. This theory, by giving this theory, David Durant says that the capital structure is relevant and the capital structure definitely affects the value of firm. So the debt equity mix that we are choosing for making our capital definitely affects the value of the firm. According to this approach, the overall cost of capital decreases and the value of the firm increases by increasing the proportion of debt financing in capital structure. So this net income theory says that capital structure is capital structure affects the value of firm. How it affects? If we are using more debt in our capital structure, then the overall cost of capital will decrease and the value of the firm will increase. By the use of more debt in our capital structure, the value of the firm will increase because of the reduction in the overall cost of capital. How it happens? It is due to the fact that debt is generally a cheaper source of finance because of two reasons. The interest rate is lower than the dividend rate, and the benefit of tax because interest is a tax deductible expense. How the overall cost of capital decreases by using more debt? We know that if the overall cost of capital decrease, definitely the value of the firm will increase. By using more debt, the overall cost of capital can be decreased. This is because debt is a cheaper source of finance because the interest rate which is to be paid for the debt, it will be always lesser than the dividend rate that is to be paid to equity shares or preference shares. And the interest that we are paying for the debt is a tax deductible expense also. Because of these two valid reasons, the debt is considered as a cheaper source of finance, and by using a cheaper source of finance more in our capital structure, the overall cost of capital can be decreased and hence the value of the firm can be increased. So that's all about the net income theory. Now we can see some of the main assumptions of net income theory. As per the net income theory is based on the assumptions that the cost of debt is always less than cost of equity and there is no tax. The cost of debt and the cost of equity remain constant. The risk associated with debt does not affect the perception of investors. These are the main assumptions of net income theory because we know that debt is cheaper source of finance, but there is risk associated with debt. But this theory's assumption says that the risk associated with debt will not affect the perception of investors, risk perception of investors. And see the diagram, we can see that the KE and KD, the cost of equity and KD, cost of debt are two straight lines. That means the cost of debt and cost of equity remains constant. If you are increasing the amount of debt in the capital structure, we can see that the cost of total overall cost of capital will starts reducing. So KE and KD are constant if we are increasing the debt content in our capital, then the overall cost of capital will start reducing. So that's all about the net income theory. So by the use of increased debt in our capital structure, the overall cost of capital is decreased and hence the value is increased. As per this theory, the cost of debt is cheaper than cost of equity. The cost of debt and cost of equity are constant. There is no tax is there. All these are the main assumption of this theory. And we can see that V, value of firm, is equal to E, that is the market value of equity, plus the market value of debt, that is D. These are the formulas associated with this particular theory. Now we can move on to the next theory, that is net operating income theory. This theory was also propounded by David Durant, whom propounded that net income theory. But in this theory, David Durant says that capital structure is irrelevant and it does not affect the value of the firm. That means this theory is quite opposite to the net income theory. We can see the explanation of this theory. We know that when debt content increases in our capital structure, since debt is a cheaper source of finance, the overall cost of capital K0 will decrease. And if the overall cost of capital K0 decreases, then the value of the firm will increase. This is what David Durant said in the net income approach. In the case of if debt increases again, what will happen? If debt increases in the capital structure, the overall cost of capital will decrease and the value will increase. If after a particular limit, again if the debt is increased, what will happen? The cost of equity that remains constant will start increasing. And this happens because of the high risk of debt. The investors will start expect high return for high return. That will lead to increased cost of equity. So up to a particular limit, if debt is increased, the overall cost of capital will decrease because debt is cheaper source of finance, and that means the overall cost of capital will decrease and the value will increase. That is net income approach. But after that limit, again if debt is increased, then the cost of equity that remained as constant will increase, because when debt increases, the investors expectation of about the return will increase, and that will lead to increase in the KE, cost of equity. So when cost of equity increases, the overall cost of capital will also increase, and if the overall cost of capital will increase, the value decreases. So whatever value is increased by the use of cheaper debt gets nullified by the increase in the cost of equity. That means if by using this debt, cheaper source of finance debt, the overall cost of capital decreased and the value is increased by, consider if the value is increased by 5, that increased value 5 will be decreased because of the increased debt. Because of the increased debt, the cost of equity will increase and the overall cost of capital will again increase and value. So whatever value is increased because of the use of debt will be decreased because of the increased use of debt. So whatever value is increased by the use of cheaper debt gets nullified by the increase in the cost of equity because of the further usage of the debt. So value of firm remain unchanged in all degrees of leverage. So there is no one optimal capital structure. So this theory propounded by David Durant says that there is no optimal capital structure because the value of the firm is not connected with the capital structure. The capital structure is irrelevant and the capital structure does not affect the firm. So whether the firm is leveraged or not, whether the firm uses more debt or not, it will not affect the company's value. So there is no optimal capital structure. This happens because At a particular level, if debt is increased, since it is a cheaper source of finance, the overall cost of capital will decrease and value will increase. If we further again use the debt, then definitely the cost of equity will increase because of the risk perception, and the investors will definitely expect higher return. And if the KE, cost of equity, increase, then definitely the cost of capital will increase, and that will lead to the decrease in the value of the firm. So this is net operating income theory, and the main assumptions is that the cost of debt is less than cost of equity, there is no tax, and the cost of debt and the overall cost of capital remains constant here. In the net income theory, cost of debt and the cost of equity remains constant, and the overall cost of capital is changing. But here, the cost of debt and overall cost of capital remains constant, and the cost of equity will increase. So when the debt increases after a particular limit, the cost of equity will start increasing, which will lead to the increase in the overall cost of capital, and which will lead to the decrease in the value of the firm. The increase in the debt in the capital structure leads to change in the risk perception of shareholders. We know that the increase in the debt in the capital structure has will not affect the risk perception of shareholders in net income theory. Here, the net operating income theory, the increase in debt in the capital structure leads to change in the risk perception of shareholders. So these are the two important capital structure theories, that is net income theory and net operating income theory.